The Gen 5 box art legends are undeniably some of the most legendary looking legends. Orbiting them all in Reshiram, or whatever is pretty obviously insane in battle, like most box arts, but hey, Dragonfire is both a really cool and really strong type combination. And its ability Turbo Blaze sounds amazing, but is this not just Mold Breaker with a fancy name? Either way, it's 150 special attack along with all of its other stats also being great, paired with moves like Fusion Flare and Dragon Pulse and all sorts of broken TM options. Obviously 5 stars in battle prowess. However, in typical Unova fashion, availability-wise, they are a bit later than most other box art legends. Most of the time, you can get them either right before or right after the 8th gym, but these two you don't get until after beating the Elite Four as a version exclusive. Then in the sequels, they're even later as post-game encounters, so even compared to other legends, that brings them down to 2 stars. But holy crap, these concepts run so deep. On the surface, Reshiram resembles a wyvern or chimera mix of creatures, but it is most obviously linked to the yin and yang of Taoism, with Reshiram being the light, majestic, or even feminine side of the coin. Then the dark and light stone of these two could be inspired by the Jewish concepts, Reshiram being the light and perfection, commonly shown as the white or black stone, but you could even go further with the brothers in fighting being reminiscent of Cain and Abel. But wait, there's more! These two could also easily be linked to the Zoroastrian deities of light and truth, or lies and darkness, even down to their types in-game. If people ignore truth and let themselves become consumed by greed, Reshiram will arrive to burn their kingdoms down. Arguably the deepest concept we've seen in this whole series, 5 stars. And as for design, as I said at the start, Reshiram is up there for one of the most regal and legendary looking Pokemon, well, ever. The pure white all across its body and the piercing blue eyes. This one is gray, by the way. This is the true Blue Eyes White Dragon. The tail being a giant torch, though, makes sense for sure, but admittedly does look a little dumb, and 3D strikes again, taking all of the life and, impact out of the design. You guys did have to point out its, flaw, I guess, and its feet do look pretty weird, I'll admit, but somewhat impressively, even those odd little details don't take away from the presence of this Pokemon. 5 stars, which will ignite Reshiram's final score at 4.25 stars overall, missing out on the Legends top 5. Zekrom is the perfect opposite to Reshiram. They absolutely nailed this duo. Orbiting them all, and in battle it is, again, incredible, of course. 150 attack, 120 defense, and special attack, and great stats otherwise is amazing. Even if physical attacking electric types are normally lackluster, they completely fix that by giving it its signature move, Fusion Bolt, which alongside Dragon Claw, Crunch, and its abundant TM options, this is obviously going to get 5 stars as well. But for availability, as we said with Reshiram, they are found later than most box art legends. Most of them are right before or after the 8th gym, but for these two, you actually have to beat the Elite Four before encountering them in the base games, then even later in the post game in the sequels, which is definitely unfortunate, and even compared to Legends, that's 2 stars. However, it is of course the equal and opposite to Reshiram in concept, who had some of the deepest lore and connections we've ever seen, like the Taoism yin and yang, with Zekrom being the darker and more masculine side, the light and dark stones from Jewish culture, biblical and historical inspirations of brothers in fighting like Romulus, Remus, Cain, and Abel, Zoroastrian beliefs of 2 powerful deities, Zekrom being the one that represents lies and darkness, and I've just gotta throw out this dex entry. If people lose the righteousness in their hearts, their kingdoms will be razed by Zekrom's lightning. I mean, come on, this is obviously 5 stars. Yet design-wise, while Reshiram for sure looks more elegant, regal, or legendary, Zekrom just exudes power. The deep black coloring with red eyes, powerful claws, and giant electric turbine for a tail, its Gen 5 sprite was a chef's kiss. And thankfully, it did take far less of a hit in 3D than Reshiram did. As you all know, I'm not Gen 5's biggest fan, but they hit perfection with this legendary duo. 5 stars. So that will give Zekrom the same final score of 4.25 stars overall, again, just short of Legends top 5.